Many thanks, Mark. Yeah, when you think about ages, I'm surprised John doesn't want to make a comeback in Italy, to be honest. But a confirmation of a couple of changes here at the start of the second half for Milan. Brocchi and Bonera are the two are coming on.
Yes, and obviously Richard is a little bit young to be going to Milan quite yet, but they definitely need someone of his industry in midfield, because with Brocchi coming on, he'll add more industry to the midfield defensive endeavour, because they really were lacking in that department.
Big game this for Milan. Brocchi, the 32-year-old, relative novice in that back line, alongside Bonera as well. So two changes by Carlo Ancelotti at half-time after what was a largely disappointing first half for Milan. Plenty of verve and plenty of zip from Empoli. They've got their own struggles, of course, to try and stay in Serie A. Currently fourth from bottom, and there is confirmation of that second change. Oddo is off, and Gorkov is off yet again. What is it about Gorkov and Ancelotti, who's been given him so few opportunities and now has just lasted until half-time? We speculated ourselves, didn't we, when we saw the two warming up there, Bonera and Brocchi, who would go off, and we thought maybe Kaka, because of the shoulder problem that he clearly picked up in the opening 45 minutes, and Calazio taking a hefty bump on the ankle.
Well, with Kaka struggling, we thought, well, maybe just to keep him safe, but he recognises the importance of this match, so to leave your most important player on to try and win the game, but they needed more defensive midfield stability, so therefore Brocchi will come on and, you know, just work up and down in the midfield position to protect the back four a bit more.
When you look at the Milan bench, there isn't that much else for Ancelotti to turn to when he makes his third and final substitution. Poloski, the other 18-year-old, is there. Gao, the younger brother of Kaka, who's a defender anyway. Simic, who's not featured since the start of October.
And Emerson,
who's been troubled by injury, like so many.
He's just generally troubled, I think.
Well, there's a chance here for Pato. Header was straight at Barsi. For a lapse of concentration at the back there by Empoli, and they were so nearly caught out by Pato, who scored the opening goal here for Milan.
Yeah, great ball in by Bonera, and Pato coming in at the far post. If he could have got it a bit lower and headed back across the goalkeeper, that would have caused more problems.
Great opportunity for Milan at the start of the second half. Empoli might well reflect on the chances that came their way in the opening half. Milan having made two substitutions here at half-time. The big surprise pre-match was Malesani, the Empoli coach, leaving out his playmaker, Vanucci, deciding to go with Abate, who'd played during the second half of their home defeat to Siena last weekend, and it was a move which certainly troubled Milan. What has been a troubled season, an increasingly troubled season. And where does Berlusconi and Milan turn to during the summer? Because we've mentioned the youngsters who are now coming through, the likes of Pato and Poloski, who's on the bench, but there's a big gap, isn't there, between lots of experience, players the wrong side of 30, you might say, and the youngsters who are emerging, and particularly in areas of attack. Gilardino, of course, Inzaghi is 34 and has had a difficult time with both illness and injury. Gilardino goes down very, very easily there on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, he gives a free kick away. Mr. Berlusconi has to turn to his checkbook. That's where he has to turn to, because they really do need a big turnaround of players. Even with Patton and Polaski, who are great prospects, it still is going to be a little bit too soon to really hang a hat on them for next season if you really want to be pushing into trying to win Serie A or the Champions League, if they qualify for the Champions League. So they really do need another striker. They need a couple of defenders and a couple of midfield players, and they need to buy quality ready to go straight into the team, not potential.
And of course, there's the element of the Champions League being a less, or if they don't make the Champions League, it's a less attractive proposition for players, isn't it?
Well, Milan is a big club, so, you know, if they're not in the Champions League, they still will be able to you know, command players, because they are a huge club.
Tony, of course, who left Italy last summer to join Bayern Munich, currently doing well in the UEFA Cup. Oh, there's a chance there again for Milan, and it's Gilardino with the header. He's claiming the corner kick.
Yes, the great ball once again by Bonera. The second ball coming in, fantastic crossing. A confident Gilardino would have put that away. Like in the first half, we saw him miss an opportunity and miss a chance. That's a good ball in by Bonera. Got in front of the defender, Piccolo, and just Piccolo did well to get back on it, but he really should have hit the target there.
Pirlo then with a corner kick.
Pato's decision making on when to dribble and when to pass is poor. We've seen in the first half, although he got fouled once or twice, he really just gets his head down and trying to take the whole defence on.
One of our production team was saying that he had the opportunity to see him at the Emirates Stadium, where he felt that he made lots of wasted runs just across the back of the Arsenal line, and it was ineffective, and maybe that's a symptom of his inexperience.
Well, you know, I agree 100%, because a player like Pato has to understand when to play one touch, two touch, when to pass, when to dribble, when to run. And at the moment, every time he gets it, he just seems to want to dribble and take people on. We know he has the quality to do that, but he has to mix it up slightly, because it causes defenders more problems. If he sometimes lays it off first time, he'll get himself more room to maybe get the second ball back. And this will be a big loss for the Mabata coming off here, because he really caused all the problems playing just in behind Saudati. And he's obviously feeling his hamstring, but Marianini coming on for him. So you can see the disappointment on his face, and maybe Marianini will play further up top.
Yeah, Alberto did so well for Empoli during the first half. The 21-year-old, the Italian under-21 international, he's been forced off here early in the second half. Just 5 minutes of the second half play. Don't look like a team who are currently fourth from bottom. Having said that, Milan don't look like a team who should be playing in the Champions League.
Well, when Milan went 1-0 up, you can see the energy drain out of Empoli, but that equalising goal really has given them renewed vigour.
Another goal in that key fixture amongst the strugglers. Catania are now 2-1 up against Cagliari. Canini threw his own goal to give Catania that 2-1 advantage. Catania is currently third from bottom, one place behind Empoli, with a point less going into this round of fixtures. And don't forget, you can see the goals from that game, Catania against Cagliari, immediately after this fixture between Empoli and Milan.
Brocchi seems to be playing much further forward than I expected, because he's not getting into the game at all. As you can see, he's playing just behind the front man now, and he's taken up a good position, but he just can't find him. Careless pass there by Ambrosini.
Saudati the target, support from Jovinko. And again by Banera to Brocchi. Here's Pirlo. Kaka. Up on again by Favalli. Saudati to put a bit of pressure on Maldini. Getting help as well from Marchisio. Significant perhaps that Marchisio has now tried to push further forward to support Jovinko and to put the pressure on the Milan back line.
Yeah, Banera just pulling back Jovinko. He intercepted the pass, the poor pass from Maldini.
Juventus apparently were keen to take Jovinko back in January. And then they came to an agreement that he should stay with Empoli until the end of the season. He scored for the Italian under-21 team in a 5-0 win over Azerbaijan. He set up 4 of the goals. Of course, still looking to qualify for the next European under-21 championships, which will be played in Sweden in the summer of next year.
Fortunate to get a free kick there. It's obviously sliding in from the side, Saudati working back, but I thought he actually played the ball. As you can see, comes across Kaka, wins the ball, but sliding in, showing his studs, gives the free kick away. No umbrella from Mr. Ancelotti.
No, never rains but pours, though. It's been another tough day for Carlo Ancelotti, the Milan coach. Been a tough whole week, really, and a tough whole season. And next on the horizon, trip to Roma. Maldini. Brocchi just losing his footing there. Real zip off this sodden wet surface. Certainly Empoli not helped last summer by the departure of Almiron, who went to Juventus. He was one of the mainstays of their push into the UEFA Cup places at the end of last season. Almiron, of course, who didn't do particularly well at Juve and has moved on again now to Monaco. To compensate, of course, they brought in 4 players from Juventus. Piccolo, the central defender. Marchisio. Giovinco, of course, and Volpato doesn't feature here.
There's Pato giving the ball away again. Instead of playing it simply back to Bonera, tries to dribble with it.
Rogers was trying to pick out Sadat. Desperately short of attacking options at the moment. Sadat, who struggled for goals. It's a giveaway there, which is presented. A chance here to Marchisio. Glorious chance again for Empoli.
Well, Carlo just watched it as to whether he took a deflection or swerved. But a great shot by Marchisio comes back off the upright.
In now by Ambrosini. Too high for everybody, but what a let-off that was for Milan. Marchisio allowed to break forward. It was a dreadful slip initially.
Yeah, poor ball by Bonera trying to find Brocchi. Maldini doesn't close him down, and unsighted Kalac. Unfortunate to see it come back, and grateful to see it come back off the upright.
Marchisio, another of the 21-year-olds, played for the under-21 team alongside Giovinco. And it's Giovinco who's now going off, Sebastian Giovinco. Giacomazzi has come on in his place. Second change now for Empoli. Milan having made 2 substitutions at half-time, and a chance there for Empoli to establish a 2-1 lead. Marchisio hasn't scored this season, thumping that shot against the base of Kalac's left-hand post. Roma have now established a 2-goal lead at Napoli. Francesco Totti from the penalty spot. Roma at the moment 9 points behind the champions and the leaders, Inter. Played on Saturday evening, and today is the anniversary of their centenary, Inter.
Yeah, Pato going for the spectacular as the ball fell. Worth having a shot, half volley, 25 yards out.
Appalling weather conditions in Empoli this afternoon. The supporters of the home team certainly don't mind that too much at the moment. The team have played well here. Pandu is trying to put them under pressure now. Great recovery as well, that by Piccolo. Raji nearly caught in possession, lucky to get away with that. Kaká just losing his footing. Players slipping and sliding. Mistakes, you feel, from this point onwards, inevitable.
Yes, well, in this weather, although it's good footballing weather, we'd like to see this. It's a defender's nightmare, because one slip, one defensive error could be very costly.
I'm looking to Kaká for inspiration. Malesani, the Empoli coach, dismissed from the touchline in the first half for voicing 1 or 2 concerns, and not just after his team had got their equalising goal. Batali, and again by Raji.
Yeah, Raji's distribution is very poor. He's a good defender, he's very athletic, good on the far post defending crosses, but his distribution is not very good.
Raji broke through 3 seasons ago when Empoli were promoted. He's been a regular since then. Marianini on as a substitute here. Free kick has been taken quickly. Real thump by Brocchi there. Pirlo held by Boucher.
Yeah, Boucher just pulling him back, giving the free kick away.
A huge amount of contract. Maldini. Here's Favali.
Poor ball by Favali. Very simple pass, and just gives it away cheaply.
Forward by Pratali, looking for Saudati.
Yeah, Saudati winning the free kick. Shoved in the back.
Definite change of approach here by Empoli in the second half, with Marchisio getting further forward to give Saudati a little bit of assistance. Serie A this afternoon, but don't forget this coming week there are 2 UEFA Cup ties here live on 5. Wednesday at 7:30, the second leg of PSV Eindhoven versus Tottenham. Can Tottenham turn that one around? It's PSV 1-0, of course, from the first leg at White Hart Lane. That's on Wednesday at 7:30, and then 24 hours later on Thursday we've got the tie involving Sporting Lisbon and Bolton Wanderers. That's at 7:30 on Thursday, live here on 5. They're still struggling after taking that blow on the shoulder in the first half. Here is Kaka, found a little bit of room there. Italian Piccolo again firm at the back, helped on by Marchisio, looking again for Saudati. Boucher. Reluctant to take Favali on this time. Later tonight on 5, there's a road trip with a difference. It's Ice Road Truckers. That's at 8 tonight on 5. Ice Road Truckers. Something of an adventure. This has been something of an adventure for Empoli this afternoon. It's a yellow card for Saudati, who came close to giving them the lead just before half-time.
Yeah, yellow. 2 bites at him there, but Pirlo did well to stand up on the first attempt. With the second snap of the heels, he brought him down and got a yellow card. But good work ethic by Saudati, the centre-forward, tracking all the way back into his own half. And I suppose if he's struggling with confidence, not scoring goals, the least he can do for the team is to work his socks off, and that's what he's done today.
And the coach has probably got more than he anticipated from Raji. He's only just returned from injury. Tosto has come on in his place. He's started 3 of the last 4 fixtures for Empoli, the 33-year-old defender. And his 12th club in Serie A. It's a straight swap this for Empoli. They brought on another defender to replace Raji. Changed their coach at the end of November, replacing Gigi Cani after 5 games without a win, during which time Empoli managed just 2 goals, both late on in a 2-2 draw with Roma, which you might have seen live here on 5 right at the beginning of November. For goals for Cami, and struggle for goals throughout the season. There was a spell of the best part of 7 hours without a goal during September. There's a gap between Saudati's efforts at Fiorentina and Pozzi's goal against Palermo. Pozzi currently on the injured list. The man in charge is Malesani, was dismissed from the touchline in the first half. For any of you joining us here on 5 for the second half, here's Partey looking for the return pass. Went down then, suggesting that he was given a push in the back by Boucher.
Yeah, look at their 1-2. I think it was with Kaka. Unexplained as to why he went down. We could find out here, because a good turn. Plays with Gilardino. Probably got pulled a little bit, actually, as you can see, as he plays it inside. That's pulled back slightly, but went down a bit easy.
Pratali at full stretch. On again by Marchisio. Giacomazzio's made a forward run. Saudati was just in an offside position there.
Yeah, it's a well-marshalled back four, very experienced, and no one to step up, when to hold the line, and Saudati just throwing into an offside position.
Here come Empoli again. Touched on again by Marchisio. Saudati now. Shepherded wide and put out behind for a corner kick by Calazzi. Marchisio having an increasing influence on the game. Eased forward to support Luca Saudati, who scored Empoli's winner at the San Siro, one of 2 wins that Empoli have ever enjoyed against Milan. Here they trail by a goal to nil. Pato putting Milan in front. Boucher with the equaliser for Empoli. Piccolo has gone forward. Pratali also in there. Delivery was disappointing. Kept in play, however, by Boucher, enticing Favale to put it out for a throw to Empoli. A great deal for Kalic, the Milan goalkeeper, to do, but he was beaten by Marchisio's shot, which thumped against a post and bounced clear. Anything Empoli guilty of not finding the target when they've had good goal-scoring opportunities. Pratali under ahead in the first half, and Saudati flashing one just wide. Here's Pato.
Once again, doing well to begin with, but doesn't release the ball quickly enough and just giving it away. I'm looking for a free kick.
Great industry there from Marianini. Marianini on as a substitute for Empoli. They've now made all 3 substitutions, just 2 by Milan so far. Coming up to the halfway point then in the second half. The team who are currently 4th from bottom against a Milan side who generally have been better on their travels this season. 9 home games before they achieved their first win at the San Siro.
Good play by Boucher. Going past Favale, brings him down in a dangerous position. Favale just getting a yellow card.
Caution then for Giuseppe Favale. He's only just returned from suspension. Missed the 1-1 draw with Lazio last weekend. Milan currently drawing too many of their fixtures. Went into the new year, of course, playing catch-up in Serie A because of their involvement in the World Club Cup before Christmas when they defeated Boca Juniors in the final. Boucher needed some further attention.
Yeah, just landed on his wrist as he went over.
The weather conditions have worsened halfway point of the second half. This is going to make it difficult, particularly for the goalkeepers Kalac and Bassi, who had a real howler in the first half. Out by Maldini.
Yeah, good ball in, but well defended and well watched by Maldini.
Understandably, Empoli eager to get Boucher back on. Maldini was saying this week that he perhaps fancies another season. 39 years of age, over 600 appearances for Milan in Serie A.
But does another season fancy him? That's the question.
Well, it's time certainly for Ancelotti to make some big decisions, and maybe Berlusconi. Will you see Ancelotti in the job next August? In charge since 2001, the longest serving coach currently in Serie A by some distance. Here's Pato, one of the latest recruits. Now Favale. On again to Kaka, who's done very little in the second half. Pato again.
Yeah, he doesn't play the simple ball very well. Either he dribbles or he tries something very difficult, and that'll come with experience, though, to make the right decisions. But his decision-making has been poor today.
Pato joined from Internazionale. Cost Milan £10 million. Joined Internazionale at the age of 11. And by Maldini. Anthony, his more recognised left-sided position. Knocked on by Giacomazzi. Kisio just offside. Milan doing their best now to keep a high line, trying to press the game back into the Empoli half. Just a reminder there of the 5 Football Italiano email address, www.5.tv/Football Italiano. Lots to see on that particular site. There's lots of debate. Mark occasionally contributes his own blog. And many of you, I know, respond.
Marchisio coming on has helped sort out the field, but Abate going off in that position which caused Milan so many problems seems to have helped the Milan midfield, because they haven't got that player just sitting behind them waiting to run at the back four. Marchisio is now just being dealt with alongside Saldati by the back four.
It's in towards Saldati. It's helped away by Maldini. Despite advancing years, it does read the game so well, as he always did. Bernardo immediately put under pressure. It's the centre-half who's out there to try and catch him out. Empoli in this fixture haven't looked like a team who are going to end the campaign in the bottom 3. Piccola. And again to Antonini, who switched now from left to right. Pushed it forward by Calazzi. Tosta. Marianini. One of the Empoli substitutes allowed to go on. Shot lacked the accuracy that Empoli were looking for.
Well, you saw when the ball was played past Ambrosino on a 1-2, he didn't even try and get back to help out the back four, and the Milan midfield looked very wary and heavy-legged.
He's had more of a look in since Malesani took over, although he's only ever managed 1 goal in Serie A. Hopeful to expect him to put Empoli in front. Empoli, who trailed, Parto scoring for Milan after a slip by Bassi, the Empoli goalkeeper, couldn't hold on to a cross from Oddo, under pressure from Gilardino, and then it was Boucher who got the equaliser for Empoli. Had further great opportunities in the first half, and in the second half we've seen Marchisio get further forward to support Saldati and to thud a shot against the post as well, with Kalac beaten, unsighted and beaten. On by Pirlo. Swift counter-attack which has been led here by Antonini. Boucher at full stretch, just trying to keep the ball in play.
Yeah, Antonini intercepted it well and broke forward, but unfortunately the pass was just overhit, and he should have taken it on and allowed Boucher to come up alongside him, then played it. He played it a little bit early, but a good break.
I think there's a chance to see Antonini a couple of times this season, and he is very tidy. One of those defenders who is always eager to get forward. And he's shown his adaptability as well. I'm sure that ball went out of play.
Yes, and fortunately for Empoli it did, or else Kaka would have been in on goal. It's one of those where the defender's trying to let it run out of play, and he's trying to shepherd it out, but unfortunately it goes past it and allows Kaka to just take it from him, but the ball was just out.
Antonini then with a threat. Helped on again by Marianini. Ambrosini. Calazzi, the Georgian international. Here's Parto. Ambrosini. Ancelotti, the Milan coach, was saying that Milan have 12 cup finals between now and the end of the season. They need to gather as many points as they possibly can. They need to squeeze into 4th place in Serie A if they're to play in the Champions League next season. It's imperative for Milan. But things are not going their way. Too many draws, too many frustrations at home at the San Siro. Too many drop points at home this season.
The problem is, even though you can look at it mathematically and say yes, there still is a possibility, you have to take the form into consideration and how they're actually playing, because the longer it goes on without them picking up points, the more you can't see them picking up points. If they're playing well, creating chances, not picking up points, you can say that'll turn because they're doing well. But if they're not playing well and not picking up points, you really can't see turning around.
Let's not forget they've lost just 5 times this season, but they've drawn 10 of their 26 fixtures so far, and they haven't scored as many goals as any of the teams above them. 38 in total. Defensively they've been okay, just 20 have been let in before today. It was painful for both Gilardino and Marianini. Blow on the elbow for both. Milan have drawn their last 2 Serie A fixtures. Let's go back to their game at Atalanta, their rescheduled game at Atalanta for their last defeat. Tosto. Cross is deflected, but comfortably dealt with by Kalec. Massive turnaround in coaches, of course, in Serie A already this season. 6 had been dismissed after just 13 games, and it only matter at Milan with some big decisions to make at the end of the season. Galliani there, the deputy to Silvio Berlusconi, who takes charge of everyday matters. Kaká has really struggled, the Brazilian who normally Milan would look to for inspiration. Might get a chance here, Kaká. Gilardino's being held, Pato's made himself available, Pirlo's in there. He's left for Ambrosini and he wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, Brocchi let it go and Ambrosini unfortunately wasn't ready for it.
Boucher loses out to Farvala. Empoli claiming that they should have had the free kick. Pirlo now. This was a poor one between both Farvala and also Gilardino.
Yeah, Pirlo trying to find Gilardino. He was actually pulled back as he spun around. It was actually pulled back by the poor ball by Pirlo, and of course it looks like Toloscu's going to come on, and remember him scoring on his debut. He's an exciting young striker as well, so interesting to see who will come off, whether it's Gilardino or Pato. But Toloscu and Pato up front, I'm sure they would have scored a few goals between them in the youth team. Maybe they like playing with each other. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Toloscu, who only turned 18 on the 4th of January. He's actually younger than Pato.
It is Gilardino who comes off, so an exciting twosome for the future of Milan coming on here, although a lot's expected of them and we don't want to put them under too much pressure so soon.
It's not the first time that they've played together, but they are the youngest ever front two in the history of Milan. And Toloscu, who scored on his debut in the Coppa Italia and also scored with his first touch. He scored the winner after he'd come on for Serginho against Siena in mid-February. Pato. It's a decent attempt by Pato. And Kaká suggesting there that he took the wrong option. He was expecting a pass, I think.
Yes, he could have laid it off for Kaká, but 20 yards from goal coming in. You can't knock him for having a shot.
Pato gave Milan the lead here. 6th goal that he's managed in Serie A. It's only his 10th game. Striker cost Milan £10 million. Striker couldn't play in Serie A until January. In September of last year. Joined now in attack by Alberto. Toloscu, who only turned 18 at the start of this year. Bold gamble this by Ancelotti. Few alternatives available to him at the moment. Inzaghi currently on the injured list. Lucas Ronaldo, of course, out for the remainder of the season after doing so well to recover from serious injury. Further problems for Ronaldo at the start of the season with a thigh complaint and then damaging knee ligaments in a horrible fall in the 1-1 draw against Livorno after coming on as a substitute. And that after he'd scored 2 against Napoli on Pardo's debut. Everybody then at Milan was saying, well, this maybe is the future for Milan. A fully fit Ronaldo, Pardos who support Kaká. Gattuso suspended here to give them the grit in midfield alongside Ambrosini and Pirlo. Seedorf, another injury casualty at the moment. I do sometimes wonder if things conspire against teams and clubs.
Well, when things aren't going your way, you do wonder.
Antonini then with a throw. Helped on by Brock. Saudati. Makisha. Just too much pace on that pass. He was well supported there by Tostau. Got forward to join Saudati. Open and expensive. Sorry, John.
Well run, well read by Maldini though, because recognised the fact that they couldn't step up to play offside. It was a well-timed run, and he had to just shepherd the ball back. The ball was overhit, but nevertheless, Maldini was there in a good position.
Here's Bonera, on as a half-time substitute along with Brocchi for Milan. Modu and Gorkov, the 2 went off. Gorkov really has struggled to get a look in under Ancelotti, although Milan have said he is very much part of their plans for the future, the young Frenchman. Pirlo claimed that he was fouled. Marchisio now for Empoli.
Scrappy play now by both sides, giving the ball away. An opportunity for Empoli to break. There's Boucher going down the right wing, and if they could have found him, he would have been in with a clear run down the wing, but both sides giving the ball away.
Kaká confronted now by a wall of blue shirts. Here's Pirlo. He knew exactly what he wanted to do then, and Empoli were anticipating it. Struggled 4 goals this season. He scored a couple of cracking free kicks. And it's wet, John, but it's not too cold.
Well, he's a very brave man there. If he falls backwards, I'll shudder to think where he'll land, but
Italian style, I think.
You see that in Newcastle every week in the worst conditions in games.
And in Sheffield, the famous Tanguy, of course, who is always bare-chested.
Pirlo seems to be playing much further forward now.
Just wonder how much Kaká was feeling the knock that he took in the first half. He required treatment on 2 occasions and was feeling the shoulder. There was clearly some difficulty in his movement, and of course it can affect your balance if you've got a knock like that, a shoulder blade or...
Well, also the type of player
arm.
he is. The type of player he always invites body contact, and he's having to hold people off as he is there. And if you've got a sore shoulder, that could be quite painful, because he's always got his arms up to hold people off, and so he needs his shoulders to be, as you can see there, to be 100%.
Buda was having a couple of nibbles then to irritate Kaká. He's eager to get the game moving again. Milan here running out of time. Tough programme ahead for Milan, and a tough programme too for Empoli. Their next fixture is away at Atalanta, then they're at home here against Juventus. They must go to Roma as well.
We haven't seen much of Giacomazzi since he's been on. I mean, Giovinco and Abate going off really has stemmed the fluidity of Empoli's attacks.
I think it's generally felt that Giacomazzi has been a major disappointment this season for Empoli. He was brought in to replace Almiron, who was bound for Juventus. He hasn't started again since the resumption of the Italian season back in January. Here's Kaká, looking to release Ambrosini, who was offside.
Yeah, Kaká should have played the ball a little bit earlier. He held on to it a little bit too long, although it was quite tight.
Knocked on again by Farina. Brock. Now Pirlo. Calazzi. Pirlo again. Maldini with the chance to bring the ball forward. Here's Pato. Maldini once more. Looking this time for Ambrosini. Maldini gets another chance. Kaka. Crosses an inviting one, and what a brilliant goal that is. Fantastic there from Ambrosini. Brilliant header by Massimo Ambrosini. Bassi is beaten again, and the pendulum has swung once more. Maybe Milan are on their way into one of those Champions League places.
Yes, a great header, because he got in there a little bit early. As you can see, as the ball comes in, he's standing there. He has to show a lot of strength and generate a lot of power with his neck, because when he come onto it from a run, but he's actually standing there, actually being wrestled as well by Tosto, but outmuscles him and gets enough power in the header to head it past Bassi. A great header by Ambrosini. He's good in the air. They always look to find him from free kicks. Doesn't normally score, but on that occasion wins the game, possibly for Milan.
Just under 5 minutes remaining then, when Milan go back in front thanks to Massimo Ambrosini. Terrific headed goal there by Ambrosini. And what about this as well? One of the scores elsewhere in Serie A this afternoon. It's now Siena 1, Fiorentina 0, and the word has obviously just filtered through to the Milan supporters. Massimo Maccarone, once of Middlesbrough, scored with 10 minutes remaining there. What a difference that could make, because at the moment, don't forget, Milan are currently 4 points behind Fiorentina in 4th place. Every game is a cup final according to their coach. Here's Kaka. Options both right and left. One of them is Pirlo. Kaka goes on his own. And the shot was thudded firmly against Tosto.
Yeah, good break by Kaka running the length of the field. Had Pirlo outside him. Had Pato inside him. Decided to go by himself and shoot, and took the wrong option.
After the goal was scored, we saw Galliani, the general manager, making his way to the exit. Fascar doubtless waiting for him. Ancelotti might have wondered if there'd be a Fascar waiting for him come the end of the season. How different it could be now, but there's still a lot of work for Milan to do between now and May.
Yeah, that seemed to knock the stuffing out of Empoli. There you can see good approach play. Maldini came forward well. Gives it to Kaka. 3 men around him. He's going to put a cross in. Tosto should have been a bit stronger. Should have been stronger, Tosto. Get his body against Ambrosini, although Ambrosini is very aggressive, particularly in the air. But can't take anything away from him.
4th goal in Serie A this season for Massimo Ambrosini in his 13th season with the club. Actually played his 200th game in Serie A against these opponents in the San Siro. Game that Empoli won by a goal to nil. Luca Saudati was the scorer that afternoon. Another fixture we've seen here live on 5. Empoli currently 4th from bottom. Have given it a real go against Milan, particularly after falling behind after a dreadful slip by their goalkeeper Bassi. Couldn't claim an Odo cross under pressure from Gilardino, and Pato was left with a tap in from inside the 6-yard area, but they bounced back immediately. Bushy, who got their equalising goal, they had further opportunities. Saudati going close, and Marchisio thumping an effort against the post. Here's Pato. Pato again looking to release the Paloski. It's come right the way to Kaka, just got to place it in. Brilliant finish that by Kaka. And it's game over now for Empoli. There's no way back.
Yeah, great goal by Kaka. It seemed that Milan had messed it up after Pato took such a long time. Played Palaski in a little bit wide. Pirlo made a great run once again, expected him to play it left, but he played it wide. Palaski tries to play the ball back in, and I'm sure it was meant to be for Pato. Went behind him, and Kaka showed lots of composure. As you can see, Pato tries to find his young teammate who tries to play back in to him, goes behind him, but there's Kaka, and a great finish. Bassi coming across too quickly, can't get back.
Kaka, who's missed the last 2 Serie A fixtures because of a knee problem, troubled by a shoulder injury for much of this game. But a superb finish then to sew this one up for Ancelotti's team. Kaka's 9th goal in Serie A this season. His last goal was when they enjoyed that 5-2 thumping of Napoli early in January. After 2 successive draws, a win then in Serie A for Milan. Patona. Game has really opened up. It's a very, very industrious midfielder who's got back to him there. It's Marchisio who's tried to make the interception. 3 extra minutes we're to have, but I think we'd agree, John, that this is Milan's game now.
Yes. And they have to feel a little bit sorry for Empoli. Showed lots of character to get back in the game, lots of endeavour, and I really feel Alberto going off, who was causing all the problems, hit their attacking fluidity very hard, and of course Giovinco going off as well, which Alberto was injured, Giovinco didn't seem to be injured, kind of took the momentum away from them. But then it was just petering out into a 1-1 draw, because Milan weren't creating much. But Ambrosini, with his never say die attitude, got in on the end of a cross by Kaka, and Kaka just wrapped it up.
So no double for Empoli over Milan. Milan coming on strong just before the end here at the Stadio Carlo Castellani. They're looking now for a 4th goal as well. Proposed European champions, desperate to squeeze back into 4th place in Serie A. They're 4 points behind Fiorentina, and Fiorentina have gone behind, don't forget, at Siena. Siena, who are pulling clear of the relegation zone. A goal there for Massimo Maccarone. And this is a double blow for Empoli, because there was word earlier this afternoon that Catania had taken a 2-1 lead over Cagliari. Catania currently 3rd from bottom with a point less than Empoli. A defeat here could push Empoli into the bottom 3, and this is a team who started this season in the UEFA Cup, although for just the 1 round. And then coach Cani said that they weren't really strong enough to compete on 2 fronts. It's a bit like Kiev, who got into the Champions League qualifiers and were then relegated the season afterwards.
Yeah, you find that a lot with a lot of the provincial sides who don't have the strength and depth. They do well 1 year, and the next year they struggle.
In truth, this has been something of a struggle for Milan. Supporters have now found their voices again. Big cheers will doubtless come at the end of the season if they can claim that 4th place in Serie A. As Seedorf was saying earlier this week, there's no reason why we can't take 3rd place. Juventus have had 1 or 2 stumbles in recent weeks. Genoa versus Juventus is the big game in Italy this evening. Kaka. And that is it. Milan have achieved the win that they craved here at Empoli. It was a real struggle for them, however. Pato had given them the lead. They were pegged back by Boucher. It was an impressive display by Empoli, who in the end were forced to reflect on numerous missed chances. Saudati just before half-time. They hit the post as well before Ambrosini pounced with a splendid header with just 4 minutes remaining. And then Kaka, who was troubled by a shoulder problem, scoring a splendid 3rd goal just before the end. They won 12 wins before the end of the season. That's number 1. It's Empoli 1, Milan 3.